Now, Anil Deshmukh has responded to the explosive letter by Paramveer Singh alleging that the former Mumbai Police Commissioner was levelling false allegations to save himself from further legal action. All right, let's go across to Srinivasan Jain for more on this. So, Vasu, of course, the big question is who is going to be having a good night's sleep among the politicians of Maharashtra tonight? Anil Deshmukh responding there saying that Paramveer Singh is trying to save himself from further legal action. Any word from Mr. Singh, who has set the cat among the pigeons with his letter to the Chief Minister?
Well, Sarah, this is a huge political embarrassment for the beleaguered Maharashtra government, which has anyway been rocked by scandal after the emergence of serious questions over the role of the police inspector Vaze in this entire Antela bomb scare. And now you have this letter. This is an unprecedented letter. Rarely can one recall a sitting police commissioner writing a public letter making such serious allegations against the sitting Home Minister. Now, as you pointed out, Anil Deshmukh has rejected this. He has said that there is no basis in the allegations made by Paramveer Singh. But the fact is that, number one, as many have been pointing out, it's highly unusual for a sitting officer like Paramveer Singh to have made allegations if he didn't have some kind of material or evidence to back his claim. Remember, in his letter, he's not just simply making allegations about conversations that he had with Vaze about his meetings with Anil Deshmukh, where Anil Deshmukh asked him to collect 100 crores a month. Mr. Paramveer Singh has also attached copies of SMSs or messages that he's exchanged with another police official who he says also met Anil Deshmukh, and where Mr. Deshmukh allegedly made these same demands about raising crores of rupees, and he's reproduced that SMS exchange in his letter.
Absolutely.
Now, Paramveer Singh himself is incommunicado. Sources close to him say that he has said whatever he had to say in the letter, which he has both emailed to the Chief Minister as well as sent a physical copy. Also, sources saying that the truth had to come out at some time and that he will speak at an appropriate time. But all of this, Sarah, is going to make it extremely difficult for the Maharashtra government to continue to back Anil Deshmukh. Yes, it is true that Mr. Deshmukh met Sharad Pawar in Delhi just a short while ago and appears to have got a clean hit because Mr. Pawar didn't say anything after that. But Paramveer Singh said he had briefed Mr. Pawar as well about all of this. Now, with the emergence of this letter, I think this does plunge the coalition in Maharashtra into a serious crisis. And it does appear that the position of the Home Minister is going to be extremely untenable. What call Uddhav Thackeray takes? Will he be consulting Mr. Pawar before taking the final decision? All that we'll have to wait and see. But this, as I said, is perhaps the most serious crisis that this very, very politically fragile coalition has faced since it's come together.
Vasu, we have just gotten more of a reaction from Anil Deshmukh. He has put out a statement. He says these are false allegations. He goes on to say that this is a conspiracy hatched by him, that is Paramveer Singh, to discredit me. He asks for proof. He says he should prove his allegations and goes on to say that I am filing a defamation suit against them. And then he says that the Chief Minister should conduct an impartial inquiry. The question, of course, being raised is who will conduct this inquiry, given the fact that the so-called accused here, or who these allegations have been made against, is the Home Minister, under which department an inquiry would be carried out. But Vasu, Anil Deshmukh saying he should prove his allegations. That is why in this letter, as you point out, Paramveer Singh has clearly transcribed an exchange that he has had with one officer on the phone, I think on WhatsApp. So Paramveer Singh seems to be was prepared that he would be asked for proof. So he's taking this letter to the next level, where it's no longer just a mere allegation.
Well, look, Sarah, as I mentioned, it's entirely predictable that Mr. Deshmukh will have to come out with some kind of defense trying to dismiss or discredit the allegations against him. And this is standard rhetoric. We've heard it before from politicians when they face allegations of this nature. And of course, at some point, a formal inquiry will have to be constituted because the allegations are serious. If a sitting home minister is using the police force to collect or to extort money from city establishments. But the fact is that this is now something which just goes beyond procedure. A letter of this nature, as I said, coming from a sitting police officer is extremely unusual and wouldn't have been put out in the public domain had there not been some grain of evidence there, which is why politically it will become very hard for the state government to continue to back Mr. Deshmukh, to allow him to remain in office in the light of this latest scandal, coming as it does on the back of the Entella scandal. Now this. So while an inquiry and all that may certainly take place in the future, I think for now, politically, to get the heat off the state government, they will have to act. Because remember, Sarah, that both the two key stakeholders of the state government, the NCP and the Shiv Sena, are very much part of this whole scandal. Mr. Vazre was, in fact, somebody who was a former Shiv Sainik, who was rapidly elevated within the ranks to become the head of intelligence in the Mumbai police. On the other hand, Anil Deshmukh is an NCP appointee, very much, with the blessings of the top NCP leadership, including Sharad Pawar. So both the key stakeholders in this scandal are those linked to the two main alliance partners. And therefore, in order to ensure that they try to reduce the political fallout of this, it seems highly unlikely that they will continue to back Mr. Deshmukh. We'll have to see, of course, how it plays out. But this certainly, Sarah, gives the grist to the BJP, which has been on the warpath against the state government, looking for reasons to call for its, not just the sacking of Mr. Deshmukh, but perhaps even now starting to raise questions about the viability of the state government, whether it can truly govern. So to ward off all of that, knowing the sort of pressures that are being brought on this government, again, we'll have to see what political call they make. But I suspect that Mr. Deshmukh's denials and rebuttals at this stage are unlikely to stand much ground.